Hey, what's going on? This is the Doug.Show, and my name's Doug Cunnington. Today, I have Shawna Newman joining me because she's going to tell us about an image copyright backlink scam, which it sounds scary. Scam is in there. There's copyright issues going on, and this sounds ridiculous to me. So I'm interested to hear more. Shawna, how's it going today?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing great. And it's always fun to have you on. For the people that don't know you, they can listen to some of the previous interviews that we've done, and you blog over at Skip Blast. But just a quick intro. What do you do? What do you work on?
I build far too many sites for a one-person team.
That sounds about right. You mentioned to me recently you have about 28 sites rolling in various stages of progress. So yeah, that's too much. Hire a team or do less sites.
Exactly.
Yeah, unsolicited advice. Okay. What is going on with this image copyright scam? And we maybe can start from the beginning and how this could be a legitimate request that you get, and how this is morphed into a scam and something that is kind of a terrible fraud-laden situation.
Yeah, so this whole thing started for me a little more than a year ago. I was actually still living in the Netherlands when it started, and I moved back to Vegas in January of 2020. So how it started was I got an email from someone saying they were with photocredits.org and that their client wanted me to let me know that I had used one of their images without permission, but don't worry, I wouldn't get sued as long as I linked to this site that they gave me below. And I actually used to work, I'm from the Nashville area, so I actually worked in copyright in the music industry there for several years. So I'm pretty well versed in copyright law. So I knew something was up immediately. So I got really mad about it because I couldn't believe people were doing this, because I knew they had to be taking advantage of people who didn't know copyright law as well as I do. So I did this deep dive into this photocredits.org site and the site that they wanted me to link to, and was able to trace it back specifically to Southeast Asia and to Thailand itself. So I knew that this was originating from somewhere in Thailand, and that whoever was behind this was just probably some shady SEO who was living in Chiang Mai. So I wrote everything that I found out about this in my blog post when I was telling people about it. And I actually ended up getting contacted by the person who was running the scam, and he blamed it on a rogue VA, saying that this VA had done this on their own. And I thought that was going to be the end of it, but it wasn't, because 2 weeks later, I got the same email from a different person at photocredits.org wanting me to link to a different site. And I think I've written about this 4 times so far, and it continues to evolve a little bit every time that I do it. I think as I am writing about what's happening and doing this deep dive, they clearly are getting new domain names to use, because the domain names keep changing. But they're also really lazy, because what they're doing now is that they're impersonating a law firm and a lawyer, which is even more threatening to people and is actually illegal here in the US. And they are using the same website template for every site that they use. So like you can just search for some of the text on the page and find all of their sites, all these fake law firms where they're doing this. So.
Wow, there's so much there. And I do want to rewind and talk about like how this could be a legit notification, for example. And I'll mention a couple years ago, I think I heard Hayden Miyamoto on Niche Pursuits with Spencer Hawes, and he talked about like a link building strategy where you publish images on Creative Commons, which people can use. And then one of the attribution methods is to link back to the origin site or a place where the credit should be given, which is a legitimate link building strategy. And, the other side of that is sometimes people maybe don't know, or maybe they do know, and they just grab images from anywhere on the internet, publish it on their website, which is a violation of copyright. So I'll let you take it from here, because you know more about copyright law and such. So is that kind of right on the broad strokes?
Yeah, the way that got started a few years ago was people actually were using Flickr, and they were uploading things with the Creative Commons license. And then in the description, it said, if you want to use this, please link to, and they would include their website. And that's a perfectly valid use of Creative Commons and doing that link building method. The way this one has evolved, though, is it's making it seem like you basically took something that you weren't legally able to use on your site. And it's no wonder that it's working so well for this shady SEO who's doing this, because, if you don't know copyright law and you don't know what a normal notification for something like this would work, you panic. You're like, oh my God, I'm only making maybe $100 a month. I can't afford to be sued. So yes, of course I'm going to give them a link. But the truth is if you do end up using an image that you are not legally able to use, the copyright holder will not ask you to link back to their site. They're going to threaten to sue you, definitely, for sure. But you're also going to get that standard DMCA notice as well, letting you know that you are breaking the law. And there have been plenty of instances of people like Getty Images, for instance, suing people for thousands of dollars for using images that you're not legally able to use. And they obviously did not ask for a link back to Getty Images.
So the red flag here is you'll get sued, not contacted for a link.
Yes.
You can't pay lawyers in links.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people who actually get caught up in legitimate image copyright legal issues is they think, oh, I didn't know, I've removed the image, so now I'm safe. And that's not how copyright law works. It doesn't matter if you did it on purpose or if it was an accident, because it's illegal. Like, if you are a web publisher, you should know better, honestly. And if you don't, if you're listening to this right now and you don't know copyright law, do yourself a favor and look it up.
Yeah, it's fairly straightforward, especially with images and that sort of thing. And we'll just kind of go on this little tangent here on the YouTube side.
Yes.
It is, a little bit more, it's not as transparent because there is some fair use. And you could think about this like when a news program or a news network shows a clip or some likeness of an individual or whatever, like they have commentary around it, and it's like they're able to use it because they're reporting the news. It could be educational. There's a few other aspects. Are you very familiar with fair use?
Yeah, and I think where people get tripped up a lot with YouTube and think they're in the right is that part in the law that says if you're offering a critique or it's a derivative work, you just wanting to shitpost on YouTube does not make that a derivative work, and like people just think that makes it a derivative work. And you doing a buying guide and putting your fake review does not make that a critique either. So I don't know if people are willfully ignorant on this topic because they just want to do it and get away with it, or if they really don't know.
Right. Okay. So again, we'll just reiterate the red flag here is like a legal looking organization is contacting you for a link. They're not trying to sue you.
Right.
Okay.
Well, you can also, it's public information to see if a lawyer is like a lawyer, like, or can they legally practice law in the state of New York, which is the state that they're now using on these little fake scams. You can look that up and see. Just put in the person's name who's they're claiming to be a lawyer. So
so that was another area that I was going to ask you about. When you started tracing down like the location of the individual, I mean, it's kind of a red flag again that it wasn't originated from New York or like wherever the address should have been. It would be highly unlikely for someone in the US to use a VPN to make it look like they're coming from Southeast Asia. How did you trace that down?
Well, the first thing was that the email arrived in the middle of the night, US time, which was the first clue that they were not within the United States, because no law firm would have someone sending out stuff like that in the middle of the night. Then I just basically was using Whois information to track down like where these sites were registered, things like that. I did a deep dive into who they were using for hosting. Like I told you, I was really mad about it.
Yeah.
So I spent far too many hours researching this.
All right. What should someone do if they get one of these notifications?
Well, if you get one, which is the current iteration where they are impersonating a lawyer and a law firm, which is completely fictitious, that's actually considered fraud. And if you feel like you've been taken advantage of in this situation, you can contact the FBI's fraud department. They have a cyber fraud unit. If they continue to use New York State, it's also highly illegal in New York State, and the New York State Attorney General is very active in going out, after people who do cyber fraud, so you can contact them as well. I would definitely just delete the email as well. Like, there's no need to engage with these people because why bother? You know what I mean? So.
Right. And we'll link up so people can follow your series over there. Hopefully you won't have any more parts. Hopefully this is done. But some of those links and some of the deeper information is in there. So people should have a look. And I guess the other important thing to note, like at the time we're recording this, it is a New York address, but it could be any state. They could say it's coming from like the Cayman Islands or Canada and try to kind of make it seem different than what we're talking about here. So really anytime anyone's asking you for links is probably BS.
Yeah. Well, and in this industry, links have a monetary value, So if you are buying a link, you're expecting to spend hundreds of dollars probably per link. So that kind of escalates this fraud to another level because it's kind of blackmail. Like, I don't have any legal training, of course, so I'm not offering legal advice, but it's highly illegal, whether it's in New York State or another state. It's illegal in all of the U.S. So definitely, don't fall for it.
All right. Well, any other thoughts on this before we wrap it up?
No, I mean, I just think it's despicable that people are doing this. And like I said, I know who started it with me, who is behind it. I don't know for sure if they are still doing the ones that are going out or if someone else has escalated this to the fake law firms. But I feel like this industry has a bad enough name. We don't need these bad actors running these kinds of scams,
Right. I just thought of another question.
Okay, yeah.
Were you getting these for different websites or was it the same one?
It was the same site mostly. Like the bulk of them went to one site, which is the site that I have that gets the most traffic, so more than 100,000 visits a month. But I did get it from one other site as well. But there's plenty of people, if you do a search for some of these fake law firm names, there's plenty of people who've written about this on forums, other blogs, people in the Mediavine Facebook group are getting these as well. So they seem to be targeting a wide variety of people. I kind of suspect that they're also doing this for clients. I suspect someone is taking on clients for link building and using this tactic to get free links.
Well, I just thought of a great way to shut this down a little bit quicker is if you know who the clients are and they have US addresses, you start going after them. Like if someone's a lawyer and they have time, you start sending letters to them. They will not be happy with their agency that they're working with.
Yeah. Well, I've actually contacted a few of these because lately they've been e-com sites that they want you to link to. So I've contacted them trying to, like, who are you hiring to do SEO? Because they just contacted me with this link scam. But I've not gotten any responses back. And I actually found a forum post recently where someone else had done the same thing and they got no response back. So it's completely possible they're not doing this for clients and these are their e-com sites. Like, who knows how big this scam really is.
Interesting. Yeah, that's something else. It is unfortunate. Like you said, SEOs definitely have a bad reputation.
Yeah.
So this makes it even worse. And it's fraud.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, Shawna, this has been great. I know you have a few courses over at Skip Blast. You want to tell us about maybe one or two that seem to be pretty popular? You have a Haro service too, right?
Yeah, we're completely full right now though, but I do have a course on how you can build your own hero team, just like I did, including like SOPs and how I train them and everything. So if you want to save a little money there and just buy the course and train your own people, that'll be a good idea for you.
You can start your own agency.
Yeah,
I got a course on that too. So we have competing courses. People can check out both sales pages, see which one. Yours is oriented towards like building a team, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine's
it's 100% focused on where to find the people, how to train them, how to track their work and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. And what kind of results are you getting for your clients when you're running the service?
We're doing pretty good. It is getting more competitive to land the links. And I do Haro for my own sites as well to get content, to get expert quotes and stuff. it seems like more and more people every month are discovering how great Haro is for links. So more and more responses are coming into those queries. So it's becoming more and more important that you actually put in the time to craft a really quality response to actually score those links.
Gotcha. Well, I'll tell you, my course and your course are not helping the cause, so it just dilutes the whole thing.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll put links in for that stuff, and certainly to the series that you publish on this copyright scam. So thanks, Shawna. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.